Today I'm back in Central Park visiting 5 of the movie sites that are on the list. In this video, I'm going to the spot where John Wick found out he was excommunicado, visiting the place where Bill Murray captured a jogging ghost, and a scene from a popular Adam Sandler movie that was very surprising when I found it. This is the second part of a 2-video series for people that are visiting New York and are looking for interesting places to go when they're in the park. There's a link in the description for the full list that's on our website, and I'll put a QR code on screen in case you're watching this on TV. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Bethesda Terrace was designed to be the heart of Central Park. The centerpiece is the Angel of Waters fountain, and it symbolizes the fresh water that's brought into the city through the Croton Aqueduct. Of all the movies filmed here, I think John Wick 2 is the most memorable. That's the scene where John met with Winston at the end of the movie and found out he was kicked out of the organization. The Avengers also had a scene here that I totally forgot about. It was at the end of the first movie when Thor was taking Loki away and all the Avengers came together in like a team bonding moment. The area has been in tons of movies, and you'll always find people around this fountain in all seasons, winter and summer. The fountain's turned off in the winter to winterize the pipes, but if you visit in the summer, then you'll see the water flowing, and you'll usually find some musicians around because the acoustics under the terrace is like a natural amphitheater. The Boathouse sits right on the edge of the lake, and it's been in so many romantic movies. The most memorable for me is when Harry met Sally. It's the scene when Sally and her friends were having lunch while talking about her love life. The Boathouse reopened in 2022 after closing for a short while. I don't know the Boathouse to be known for its food, it's really the view. So if you want to stop by, I would recommend just grabbing a drink, taking a picture, and then continuing to explore the park. The Reservoir is basically Central Park's running track. If you jog this area, you know that there's one-way traffic because there can be so many runners that it's dangerous if people are running in opposite directions. In terms of movie scenes, I was actually torn around what my favorite scene was. In The Devil's Advocate, Al Pacino plays the devil, and he's describing what greed does to humans as we see a jogger running the wrong way around this path on their way to death. It's Al Pacino in his prime, and it's hard not to love that scene. But Ghostbusters 2 has a quick shot here where there's a ghost jogger running around the park. And Ghostbusters movies were so much fun. Even though that was a really short scene, I still loved it. The running path is about 1.5 miles, and the views of the city skyline reflecting the water are beautiful, especially at sunset. Sheep's Meadow is 15 acres of open lawn. During the summer, you'll see people relaxing, doing yoga, tossing a ball, or just reading a book and enjoying the weather. Sheep's Meadow got its name because between 1864 and 1934, there were actually 200 sheep that would graze between this section of the park and the section across the street that's now Tavern on the Green. Now, when it comes to movies, picking a favorite movie filmed here wasn't hard. If you saw Wall Street, there was a scene at the end of the movie where Gordon Gekko was fighting with Bud Fox, and that was such a classic scene to me because you had these two characters that represent two different New York personalities filmed in this area with this green grass, the city in the background, and overcast sky. It was such a great scene and great use of space to tell that story. All right, so the last location for this video is the most northern section of the park at the Harlem Meer. And I had to put this scene in when I found it. My son and I love watching old Adam Sandler movies because Adam's humor is basically the same as a teenage boy. There's a scene in Big Daddy where Adam Sandler is throwing sticks in front of rollerbladers, and some guy comes rollerblading down the hill, hits the stick, falls into the lake, and Adam's like, "Watch out, there's a stick there. Somebody should move it." It's very simple humor, but if you appreciate teenage boy humor, it's a classic scene. This area looks different now. The movie's at least 10 years old, and this section of the park was renovated during the spring, but you can tell this is the rollerblades path, and that's the same building from the scene in Big Daddy. I like this section of the park the best. It's less crowded up here than the southern end of the park. The easiest way to get up here is by bike. There are city bikes around the park that you can rent, but those don't come with helmets. If you want a bike helmet, rent from one of the bike rental companies at the southern end of the park. Horse and carriage and pedicab tours don't make it this far north. But if you're on foot, you can take the train to 110th Street, and then it's just a 5-minute walk to get to the Harlem Meer. Central Park is 843 acres, and there's a lot of movies filmed here. I just touched on some of my favorites, but hopefully I hit some of yours as well. If you haven't watched the first video, take a look at that one next. If you enjoyed this series, hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.